Hello, and welcome to a screencast that I'm going to do about installing WordPress uh, right out of the box. And I'm going to do this screencast on the fly. So if I make any mistakes, please do forgive me. So let's go ahead and start by downloading WordPress. So I'm going to go to WordPress dot. Oops. We want to go to here a little free marketing while we're at it. No, I want to go to WordPress.org is where we're headed, and is what we're going to do is we're going to download the latest release. Oh, pardon me. Sorry about this. We're going to go to WordPress.org, and the first thing that we're going to do is, usually on the home page, it lets you know the latest release they have. They also have this pretty bold, outstanding download tab. So if we click on download, it lets us know what the latest release is, and we're going to go ahead and download this in zip format, and download, and it's that quick. It's already down on our computer, and if I pull up a file browser and be able to look here, notice that WordPress has uninstalled. Has downloaded, and we're gonna go unpackage it, and here it is. Here is all of our WordPress files. Every single one of these must remain intact with one another, and we must move these now to the directory of kind of where we're going to work from. Here on the Mac, I'm using MAMP, so I'm going to store everything in my htdocs folder. I'm going to go ahead and put this under a folder name of FWWP. Uh, of course, standing for our Fort Worth WordPress meetup. And as you can tell right now in this file, there's absolutely nothing. So let's go ahead and select all of these files and just simply go ahead and copy these right in over to this folder. Okay, so we don't need this folder anymore. So now you can tell here are all of our working files. One file that I was trying to point out that's extremely important is this wp config-sample file. Right now, this is pretty much set up blank, and it even has all of our variables pretty much filled in, spelled out pretty clearly what we need and where it needs to go. So now that I have this in place, the next thing I need to do is I need to set up a database. So that way that WordPress can actively talk to, let's don't be moving files around, needs to be able to actively talk to the server. So is what we're going to do is we're going to switch back to our browser, which is where we're going to do this creation of a database. We're going to go into a graphical user face program for MySQL, and it's called PHPMyAdmin. It's a very popular one. There are, of course, other ones out there, but this is what I'm going to use in this tutorial. Seems that most hosts these days have this installed. So if we go to the home page, you can tell this is what you kind of land on. Over here on the left-hand side, it lets me know what databases I currently have that is inside my install of PHPMyAdmin. Well, I want to go ahead and create a new database for our new setup of WordPress, and I'm going to call this FWWP underscore, and we're going to do a WP again for WordPress, and we'll do underscore DB for database. And collation, everything else you can probably more than likely leave just the same. So we'll go ahead and hit create. And it lets us know that our database by the name of FWWP I'm trying to highlight it for you, DB has been in fact created. And now the only other thing that we need to have is we need to make sure that we have user names set up. Right now, under here, it lets us know the users that have access to this, in fact, database. Right now, we have Chase and Root. Now, let's go ahead and go back to our home screen of PHPMyAdmin. And if we go down, we can look at the current databases. Pardon me, the current users that are within this install PHPMyAdmin. Right now we have Chase and we have Root. If we need to add somebody else new, of course we can do it right here. But if all you see is Root, I really recommend that you go ahead and add a new user, because Root is generally kind of not, I guess, bad practice, if you want to say so. If you don't have another username already set up, just simply click Add Username. Add your username, and everything else will leave the same, and go ahead and give yourself a password. Remember this, and if you want to generate a strong password, which I strongly recommend, you can generate one right here and it'll fill it in and let you know what your password is right here. And of course you can copy and paste that. So anyways, in the meantime, I already have mine set up, and you can tell over here, pardon me, we have our FWWP, and we called ours _DB. Right here is pretty much our database, and as you can tell, we have no tables right now in this database. So now let's open up our file we were talking about earlier, this wp-config-sample. We're going to go ahead and open this up, and I use Coda, so we'll go ahead and open this up right here. And we're going to go ahead and drill down so we just see our files in where we're working. So right now, we are in here, and it's asking us to define some of our MySQL settings, which is basically our database settings. So right now, it's asking us to define the database name, which we know was that FWWP _DB, which I've inserted here. Our username, if you haven't created one, would be root, but hopefully you took my advice and created another username. And here, pardon me, we have right here, and then password, we will go ahead and fill in. This is not a password that I'm worried about anyone taking. But usually you would, of course, not want to share this. Localhost, that's correct in my situation, and is usually in most cases going to be okay. But and sometimes if you're having trouble getting connected and the host name is one of your errors that you can't get to connect, then you might want to contact your host to see if they can help you resolve this. Now, these are usually okay, but if you have different character sets that you're going to be using, right now this is universal, and this is going to be just fine. And the collate type, if you don't know what you're doing and you're just installing for WordPress for the first time here, there's no reason to worry about that. So now we have the basics of our WP config. So what we need to do is WordPress recognizes this file when it's named as WP-config, but in fact not WP-config-sample. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to save this just as WP-config. if we go and save it like that, then we have our, if we go ahead and see that we have it, and everything is filled in correctly. So now once we have that done, we can go ahead and switch back over to our browser, and we can tell where, we'll go ahead and pull up the web page. Pardon me, where I figure out where my folder is. We're going to go ahead and go to the Fort Worth WordPress. If you were on a domain, you would type it in, but I'm using localhost. I'm using map, so I'm just going to go to my directory, and you type in the extension wp-admin/install. Will take you there. If you have done everything correctly and you've connected to your database, you'll see this page. This is a extremely quick setup, so we'll just go ahead and say site title. We'll just say Fort Worth WordPress. Meetup. This is where we define a username. For security purposes, we're going to change this to, instead of admin, we're just going to call this, I'm going to call it Wizard. Wizard is the one that has all of our properties. This is just for security reasons. Most SQL injections will look for the username of admin, so we're just going to make it a little bit more secure by calling it Wizard. Let's go ahead and enter our password that we're going to use to log in. Okay, and if we go down here, we'll add email, and mine will be chasePython@gmail.com. And you may or may not want sites to appear in search engines. Mine I'm doing for test purposes, so we're okay. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to hit install WordPress. Sure. And it lets you know success. We have now installed. WordPress has been installed. Were you expecting more steps? Sorry to disappoint. No, we were not. So you have not disappointed us. This is great. Let's go and log in. Our username is, of course, what we chose, Wizard, and the password is, again, what we chose. So we'll go to log in, and you can tell we're logging in at FWWP, which is more or less kind of our domain, or this could be our subdirectory if we had it in one, and then we would just go wp-login.php. Username, of course, beautifully enough, is Wizard, and our password is remembered for me. And we're going to go ahead and log in. Now we can see our dashboard in the back end of WordPress. So we have actually, if we go ahead and drag this right here, we can actually see the home page of our Fort Worth WordPress meetup at our domain, except for I'm doing this locally. So therefore we have successfully installed WordPress, and thank you for watching this screening.